Hello YouTube. This pen tool, isn't it massively complicated and confusing to use? It is to begin with, but in this video I'm going to show you a super easy method to get used to the pen tool quickly and start making awesome selections in Photoshop. Okay, so here we are inside Photoshop. I've already got the pen selected here. Just click that. Make sure that you've got path selected from the toolbar at the top, because we're going to be making a selection. So what is a path? Well, a path has a start and a finish. So we click once, we have the start, click at the end, we've got the finish. Now we can keep clicking all the way around till we get to the where we first started. Now this is great if everything in the world was square, but it's not. Now let's use this example of a star. So here we have a star. Let's zoom in a little bit. Zoom out, it's a bit close. Let's select the pen tool again and start making selections. Dead simple, because it's just one connection after another. Keep clicking at each point, got straight lines. When we get to the start, we see that circle and we've made the complete connection. So now if we right click in here and then go to make selection, we'll keep feather radius at 0. This just creates a little bit of blur between the connections, between the join for where you cut it out. We can just leave that on 0 for now and hit OK. Create a mask, and there we have our star cut out. Okay, cool. But how do we do curves? Well, let's move over to this example of the blue car. Okay, so let's zoom in on the car by pressing Ctrl and plus. Let's look at the roof. Select the pen tool. Now there's actually only two keys you need to know to use the pen tool, and that's Control and Alt, or on a Mac that's Command and Control. Sorry, just looking at my Mac keyboard. Now these help you control the curves and the direction in which the curve's going. So let's start right on the top of the roof here by selecting once. Now I'm going to select somewhere further along the curve here, along the roof. I'm going to click and drag. And you notice these handles up here. Now the right handle is the way you're going, and the left handle is the curve or where you've been. So if we hold Alt and move any of these handles, you can see they kind of, you can snap them, they don't have to be straight. So as long as the right one's going where you're going, you can do the same with the left one. Now when you move and snap the left one, you can see the curve comes with it. So we can just kind of drag that along the curve where we want it to be. So let's keep going. So we've got this going along here, so let's select again here and drag. Again, the right's where I'm going to be going, so I'm going to leave that there. And I'm going to hold Alt over this side and just move the curve to where I want it to be. And we can kind of carry on doing this. So we click and drag, hold Alt, move the curve where we want it to be, and carry on going. So I'm just going to carry on selecting down here and probably speed this up for you guys because it might get a bit boring. Okay, so we've got to a bit of a different situation here. We're not carrying on this curve, we're going to stop it because we've got to go around this mirror. Okay, so I'm going to click and drag still. Let's keep the handles. Now again, if we hit Alt over this right handle the way we're going, we can just snap it and say, right, we want to move into this direction now, and then we can start clicking and dragging this way. So let's do the same. We click and drag. Now we can either keep dragging where we get. See, if we move this to where we're going, you can see this top one starts going all weird. So let's move it just a little bit. Well, there we can kind of see the curve works anyway, and we just do the same there. Just click and drag. Now we're going to be going in different directions. No use me trying to get, it's not going to work. So hitting Alt again on the right handle, snap it and move it into the right direction and carry on. And there we go. Ooh, see, we're going a bit weird here. So again, move the, it's a case of just snapping these handles into the right place. Like so. Okay, so what do we use the Control key for? Well, we can use the Control key to move any of these points around if we make a mistake. So if we hold Control and click over any of the points we made, we can just move them and realign them if they're not quite on the edge. And it's dead easy to place them. We can do this with any of the points we've made. hold control, and we can just move and adjust. So it's not a permanent thing, the pen tool. You can change any of these points by hitting control and just moving them. Super simple. Okay, so I'm going to carry on making the selection of this car. I'm going to speed it up a bit, and we'll continue in a second. Okay, so we're right near the end, so if we hover over where we started, you can see this circle pop up, which means it's the end of the path. So let's click that to make the connection. Actually, let's click and drag just to make it, there's a bit of a curve there. Okay, cool, so let's zoom out. All you have to do here is right click and then go to make selection, and then you can change this feather radius to say 1 or 2 pixels. Now what this is going to do is going to create a slight feather, so it's not quite a harsh selection. So let's hit OK and then create a mask, and there we have a fairly decent selection of the car. So the key to learning the pen tool is to practice. Practice using cars like this, or any shape really. And when I started, I used a website called the bezier.method.ac. This is a really cool website for practicing using the pen tool. Now there's a bit of a tutorial to begin with, and then it kind of becomes like a little bit of a game, and see if you can control going around these different objects. And it's a really good way to start getting used to how you drag curves and where to click and where not to click, and it's really good practice. Anyway, I hope you've learned something new today, guys. Don't forget to leave your comments below, like and subscribe, and I'll see you again soon.